All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Control. We are live from the 704 once again for episode, what's this? 203. Yes, 203 of the A15 Exchange. And well, I have a special guest for the main event of the NBA. As that season has come to a close, we've got Game 7. Yes, Florida Panthers. So that is right. Game 7. Yeah, I tried to tell you. What did I tell you? Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. And, of course, we got some draft coverage to talk about there as well. That and the NBA. We also have Euros and Copa America going on right now. So this is like a live almost reaction of me kind of recording this. So we got that going on. Stuff to talk about in entertainment, of course, a little bit later on during that midway point, as always. And a whole lot to talk about in the roundup, packed as usual. So yeah, plenty to get to, so let's get down to it. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, everything you're looking for in this life can be found in my description. Timestamps in my description, also embedded in the video. What else? Oh yeah. Social media links. Yeah, if you want to follow me on social media for whatever reason you just want to see about my life, then you can follow me there. It's also in the outro. But yeah, like I said, without further ado, let's talk about soccer. I promised I have to bring it to you. I do. I have to deliver. Argentina and Canada kicked off the Copa America. Of course, Argentina, the reigning, defending, undisputed World Cup champions. The #1 ranked team, I believe, in FIFA's world rankings currently. Led, of course, by, you may have heard of him. Lionel Messi, yes, the greatest of all time. He did have one of his greatest of all time performances, though, against Canada, who, by the way, reeling going into this game. Absolutely reeling. And it honestly could have gone a lot better. It could have gone worse, though. It could have gone worse, but it wasn't another great performance for Canada, as Argentina does get the win 2-0. Julian Alvarez continues to become more and more prolific as time goes on. Lautaro Martinez does what Lautaro Martinez does. Messi didn't do what he got an assist. So you know what? The GOAT did, Messi did Messi things. But some of those three minutes, that was kind of hard. All right, that was kind of hard. He wasn't the only one. Mbappe, but before he broke his nose, had a really bad one last week as well. But yeah, not perfect game for Messi. Honestly, not a perfect game for Argentina, but honestly, you'll take the 3 points. All right, kick it off against Canada. Solid squad, even though they've, haven't been on the best form, going into this tournament. You'll take that any day of the week. Canada, gotta play better. Not the end of the world. Mexico also kicked off that same, I think the day after, actually. Or actually today. Yeah, that would be today. And they got to win 1-0 over Jamaica. Now, Mikel Antonio, I did want to say that was a very tough offside, but you know what? Hey, that's the, gotta have better positioning. And Mexico gets their get back. All right, they get their get back. Currently, USA is up 2-0, I believe, at halftime last time I checked. So they are currently cooking against Bolivia. So all good there. So let's go over it. All right, let's travel overseas. Euros. Portugal. Listen, all Euros games so far have gone one of 3 directions. Instant classic, absolute brutal, just beat down, or an absolute dud. All right, one of the 3. It's like baseball, the 3 true outcomes of Euros, and that is what it's been. Here we had an absolute drubbing. All right, Turkey played it was horrid. They honestly could have lost this game by more. They played bad enough for like one of those classic 7-1s, to be honest with you. Including, and by the way, there's been an obscene amount of own goals, and we're going to talk about one a little bit later here, talking about Euros. Obscene amount of own goals, by the way. Turkey might have had the worst one yet. Okay, that was just horrid. Defending wasn't great. Ronaldo, unselfish though for Portugal. That last assist of Bruno Fernandes was basically, first off, very, very easy, but Ronaldo played a very unselfish game. Saw a lot more playmaking from him throughout this match, so a lot of good signs, though. A lot of good signs for Portugal. They look really, really strong in this game. Not that Turkey's like a world power, but, Turkey is a respectable team. Solid team. They won their first game, I believe, as well. So, very impressive performance from Portugal. A lot of momentum to be built there. So, yeah, good things going forward. Bruno Fernandes gets on the score sheet. Who else? Bernardo Silva gets on the score sheet. So, both of those guys kind of taking charge for Portugal. A lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff from the team in red. France and Netherlands. All right, Mbappe, would he play? Would he not? Would he be allowed to wear the mask? No, he would not. But it did not matter. All right, it did not matter because, it was 0-0. This was a dud. The hype of, Netherlands with Gakpo and Depay and Xavi, even though Xavi scored and they got called back, which is really, really tough. Also, Gini and Mbappe had a very interesting post-match conversation. in the tunnel. Very interesting. If you saw it on Twitter, you may know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you can go look it up. And I'll let you perceive it how you want it amongst the 3 former PSG or 2 former and 1 current PSG players. So I'll let y'all, kind of determine how you feel about that. But yeah, Mbappe does not play the champs, holds them off. France, of course, France and England are the favorites, obviously, in this tournament. But I don't know. Honestly, and it's not because of the talent. They have talent in spades. It's the managers. I'm not convinced by Gareth Southgate for England, and even though the champs has won before, I'm not wholly convinced with the champs' game planning right now and just how he's conducting. I don't know, man. I don't know about France. They feel like a little bit like upset bait. We'll see what happens, but they do get 4. And again, in Euros, like knockout qualification, basically all you got to do is get 4 because the 4 best third place teams advance anyway. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. But France and Netherlands doesn't really live up to the hype. Spain, Italy. Would have been scoreless, probably would have taken the draw, but unfortunately, Ricardo Calafiori, after he had an amazing week last week, Nesti Maldini, women falling out over him, which, I understand, I get it, look at the man. But, unfortunately, Calafiori joined in on the own goal party. Not as bad as the Turkey one, but still, that ends up being the decider in Spain. Grabs the 3 points, advances, so Italy got to get that result in their last tie. Going to be very important. Italy looks a lot better, even though, Calafiori not happened. Even Calafiori didn't play his best game by any means, but, I think they'll be okay. I think they should advance. I hope they do, just for the sake of competition purposes. But, yeah, Spain, they'll take it. They'll take a 1-0. Advance. They get to rest some of those young players who have played 1,000,000 matches. All right, Spain, you have a problem. All right, you have a problem, an absolute problem. That wasn't all, though, ladies and gentlemen, because all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose today at Euros. I don't know what spirit of Xabi Alonso or Bayern Leverkusen or Rowan was injected into the tournament today, but it was madness, all right? I hope I say his name right. Kevin Sosbeth, all right, scores in the 100th minute, not of extra time, no, the 10th minute of stoppage time with one of the final kicks of the game to break Scotland's hearts at the edge. All right, Scotland fighting for their life, and Hungary puts them to bed. They stay alive. Scotland gets eliminated in the 100th minute. 10th minute of stoppage time. That's tough. So tough. But that wasn't it. That wasn't the only thing. Germany has been incredible. So far in Euros. In their last match against Switzerland, how would it go? Well, Germany wins their group here. They get it done because Nicholas Füllkrug. How many times have we said Füllkrug's name this year? Whether for Dortmund and now for Germany. But the number 9 gets it done in the 92nd minute, 2nd minute of stoppage time, as he ties the game against Switzerland, grabs Germany to the point, and grabs them the group win. So yeah, Germany tops the group. They've been looking good, man. Even though they only drew here against Switzerland, which, again, all they needed was a draw. I've been very impressed with Germany. I think they're a little bit stronger the team than, some people may have put out. Again, Musiala and Wirtz have been money in the bank. We will see if they can keep it going. But Germany gets the tie. Like I said, Copa America going on right now. Of course, we got Uruguay and Panama, of course, tonight. But USA up right now at halftime. Euros tomorrow, just checking in. We got Italy and Croatia and Albania and Spain. Looking at some of these tables, Spain, of course, advanced. Italy needs to get at least a draw out of that Croatia matchup. Croatia needs to win. All right, they're last in goal differential. They're last in everything. They have to win against Italy, so that's going to be a very big game. England currently should be okay. Denmark, Serbia, and Slovenia. That's a very interesting 3, by the way, to join them in that group. But yeah, they're all pretty much playing for their life. Netherlands and France are probably okay. Poland's out. Austria needs a result. Group E, however, is stolen the show because Romania's at 3. Belgium's at 3. Is that Slovakia? Slovakia's at 3. And Ukraine's at 3. Everybody is on 3 points. So everybody is playing to advance on the last match day. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's what we want. All right, so yeah, Group E ends up, kind of still in the show so far. We will see what happens next week. Portugal, like I said, advances. They're with 6. Turkey should be okay. We'll see what can happen there. Czech Republic and Georgia going to need a lot of help. But yeah, Euros, Copa America, we're heating up. We're heating up. We're building up to it, We're building up. Building up. Slowly but surely, we're building up. We're cooking. All right, we're here. ENT, which is only TV. We know what it is, all right? I'm here to talk television because this means House of the Dragon just ended. End of the Nights. Oh my goodness, what an episode. Listen, of course, spoilers on all of this. It goes without saying. But Cargill Bowl lived up to the hype. All right? It lived up to the hype. Shout out to Sir Eric and Sir Ark. But yeah, it lived up to the hype. All right, one of the best fights I think we've seen. It might go down as one of the all-time fights, just in terms of the actual fight scene, the fight choreo, but also the emotional impact and what happened in the storytelling in terms of the fight. I think it has such an importance of showing how much this conflict is in such a rapid descent, where we have twin brothers who still love each other, literally fighting each other to the death. Is crazy. So yeah, Kristen continues to be. I mean, he's still keeps rising. He's a terrible person, but Sir Kristen Cole continues to be the kingmaker. He keeps rising. Hey, bro, TGC, Tom Glynn Carney. I know a lot of people were talking about, and reasonably so. Emma Darcy has been phenomenal this season. Tom Glynn Carney as Aegon II has been unbelievable. As much as we talk about Emma, we need to talk about TGC because this was a wonderful, a virtuoso episode from him in terms of acting, the emotional, just Aegon crashing. It was beautiful acting. So yeah, shout out to TGC. Aegon is really becoming emerging as a character and really he feels like a main character. A lot of the story is between Alicent and Rhaenyra, which makes sense in terms of the narrative, but they've done a really good job, and TGC has done a really good job elevating Aegon II as a priority character in this entire conflict, which is what he should be. So yeah, great stuff there. Aemon just getting some more backstory there. We got to see Baela a little bit. Daemon, once again, the Road Prince is at best a morally great character. At best. I think, I'm glad that this side of Daemon was done properly, because I was a little worried, because Rhaenyra has been given a little bit of a hero role as, the main character, but they did, do Daemon justice, in the sense that Daemon is still a piece of okay? He is not a good person at all. At all. He's a morally great character. He has his good qualities, but it's good to still see that monstrous, that darker side of Daemon that we saw in this episode. And seeing Mysara and Rhaenyra as well. That was interesting. Jace, he looks great, man. He looks great. Shout out to Harry. Another great episode, man. Another great episode of House of the Dragon. It's about to hit the fan, though. All right, shout out to Fia as well for, playing Helena. A lot, again, really good performances from the younger Greens. Normally it's, Aemon and Aura from Ewan, but TGC and Fia have done a great job this season. I want to point them out. But yeah, all is about to break loose next episode. So yeah, be ready for that. We're ready for that next Sunday. The Boys, episode 4. It's just great telly, man. It's just great telly out here. Anthony Starr. We just talking about great acting performances on the entertainment segment this week. Because Anthony Starr, with one of the best performances he's probably ever had as Homelander, going back to the old VOT testing site and just eliminating them one by one and just seeing. It made you almost sympathize, though, with Homelander, Anthony did. Because of, how he was treated as a kid. Right? As a kid, he was molded into this monster, and the trauma. You could feel it, and seeing him get his revenge, while it was disturbing, was also almost like it was satisfying in a way, because he was going after monsters. It was kind of a turn. Also, I want to say how well they've done with Homelander as a character and making him so imposing that you feel him even when you knew, he was busy doing that. When A-Train was, meeting up with the boys, I was a little worried that he was going to show up and it was uh-oh. Like when A-Train got caught up in Homelander's room, I was like, oh man, cooked. So, yeah. done a great job. Anthony is killing it. Butcher might be Venom, by the way. That is my theory. I've seen this a couple times, and of course, it was The Boys Diabolical, the animated series. But I think his cancer has been mutated by the V that he's been taking. And I think it has a mind of his own. I think so. He's a little bit of a soup now. But yeah, I think his cancer's almost become like Venom. I think he got threatened by dying at the end there, and that's how he was able to kind of beat, what's it? Sparkler Firecracker. Sparkler her like crony, whoever that had like stretching powers. So yeah, I think Butcher might be Venom. That is my theory. But yeah, honestly, the boys took a bunch of L's. Huey's dad got V. We'll see how that goes. Annie crashed out on live telly. Listen, Sister Sage is up. She keeps, the lobotomy scene was disturbing. All right, that was disturbing. As much gore as we see on that show, the lobotomy scene, I actually physically cringed, might have to look away from. But yeah, Sister Sage is up. She's brilliant. She hasn't missed yet. She's gotten with the D. She's up right now. She's up. She's controlling the show right now, and I'm loving what they've done with that character. But yeah, man, just two great all-time television shows. Going back to back, man. It's good stuff out here. It's good for entertainment. Even though nothing really happened in music this week, I'm satisfied because we had some great telly. And you know what? That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, boy, oh boy, oh boy. NHL, by the way, if you didn't know. By my just, having to come to terms, okay? Because my. Florida. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? I said last week, don't give Edmonton hope. You have a chance, all right? Game 5, put it to bed, like the Celtics did. And we're going to talk about that next segment. Put it to bed. Close the show. You were up 3-0, and for the first time in NHL history, we are now on the brink of a 3-0 comeback. Edmonton, I don't know. It's like they were chilling, and then they did the classic, you got to lock in. And the Oilers locked in. And specifically, that man, we were calling on him. We were ringing him. We were like, where is he? Generational talent. Best player in the world. Where is Connor McDavid? And boy, did he answer the bell and answer the phone for the Oilers last week. Back-to-back 4-point games. Back-to-back in Game 5, or Game 4, Game 4 and Game 5. Then on Game 6, Edmonton puts 5 on Florida, wins 5-1. Mac has an assist, so he's up to 11 points, by the way. That's 2 points away from the great Wayne Gretzky, the GOAT, his Stanley Cup Finals points record. All right, by the way, if you're breaking a Gretzky record, you're in rarefied air. And McDavid right now is floating in rarefied air. He's now, by the way, at 42 points. So him, Wayne, and I don't know, the second best player of all time, Mario Lemieux, are the only people, 3 in the history of the NHL, the long story, with so many great players, only 3 to ever score more than 40. And now McDavid is one of them in the playoffs. 42 points. 5 away, which honestly I wouldn't rule out at this point. He needs 5 to tie Gretzky in Game 7, which will be tomorrow. All right, so hours after this comes out, you will know. And honestly, Fogle, by the way, wrapping up some of this Game 6 coverage, he had a goal and assist. He was, first star. But speaking more about Game 7, not that Florida can't get it done. Don't get me wrong, but I've said it. A one-game winner-takes-all matchup favors the Oilers. It does. When you have McDavid, and now McDavid playing like McJesus is supposed to play, it's a dangerous, dangerous time. And it's not just McDavid for this Oilers team. They are the most dangerous offensive team in the world, in the league, on the planet. Dangerous. You have McDavid. You have Leon. You have Nuge. You have... We've done this before. I don't need to list them out. You know the drill by now. And Stuart Skinner standing on his head like he did in Game 6. It changes things. It changes things. Momentum is on the Oilers' side, and honestly, I would favor them here in Game 7. But, all is not lost. Florida just needs to lock in. One more game. You need to have short-term memory. Make the adjustments, but you got to have short-term memory. You can't think about the fact that you are on the brink of the wrong side of history. You just got to think about win one more game, and nobody cares. One more game, and it doesn't matter what happened the previous 3 games. You lock in, play physical, all right? Get back that physicality. Get back that edge that the Panthers played with throughout the Eastern Conference Finals and throughout the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Finals. Play like you've been here. Play disciplined. Again, play physical. Play great defense, all right? Because you're going to need it once again against the most dangerous offensive team the league has to offer, the world has to offer. You got to lock in, all right? Panthers absolutely have to lock in. You know, you need Tkachuk, you need Reinhart, you need Barkov. You need Barkov to show up in this game and prove why they are stars. Because right now, it looks like the only superstars playing in this series belong to Edmonton. So, yeah, going to be interesting. But, yeah, we get Game 7. Definitely going to watch that one. That's going to be a crazy one. But, yeah, Oilers on the brink of history. The reverse sweep in the finals.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that brings us to the NBA segment. And, of course, I'm gathered here with a special guest. Will, welcome back to the Atheism Exchange.
Of course, it's been a minute. It's been a long time.
Like, was it episode like 6?
It was 6. We had just started our sophomore year. It's crazy.
And it was funny because that episode was a full NBA draft.
Yeah.
So it's
missing some folks, but you know.
Zay was on here, for 200. So
really?
Yeah, he was here for 200. He did the combat sports. So.
That makes sense. Okay, so you got some anchors now.
Anchors, yeah.
You got some anchors.
You got some
Some specialists.
Yep. So we're gonna talk about the NBA draft, but before we get to that, of course, the NBA season has come to a close, and I have to, even though I was a little bit, I think everybody on the planet except for the people in Boston were haters at some point in time, but I have to give credit where credit's due. As we said last week, Game 5 came, and in Game 5, the Boston Celtics took care of the Dallas Mavericks. 100. Let me pull this up real quick on my notes. 106-88. It was never really close. Yep. JT got busy. He had 31, 8, and 10 in this game. Jaylen Brown ends up winning MVP. He had 21, 8, and 6. Luka did Luka things, 28, 12, and 5, but it was not enough. The Celtics ultimately get it done. Kyrie only goes 5 for 16. That's not winning games. Josh Gray did have 14, but like I said, even outside of Kyrie, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford combined for a full 7 points and had more fouls than points. So it's not going to win you a championship.
Not at all. Jaylen Brown Finals MVP. I said it at the beginning of the series. They ain't believe in us. That's all I got to say about that. I'm not a Celtics fan. I am a Jaylen Brown fan. I do like the Celtics, but I like Jaylen Brown. All right.
He had a great series, especially early on in doing
Great season.
Great season as well.
Eastern Conference MVP.
And
there was a point in time they were saying they should trade Jaylen Brown for like a slew of bums now, honestly. I think I've heard of Jaylen Brown for Paul George.
Yep.
Thank the Lord, Brad Stevens has a brain. And honestly, I think it's insane, like the Celtics. We got to talk about the Celtics coaching tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. For them to lose their coach that took them to the finals, take his assistant, and they go again, and now they win.
Yep. Finish the job this time.
To me, you're hearing it first. That's starting to give me the whispers of a dynasty.
I can see it. They did all this with Porzingis. We saw Porzingis have an impact in those first 2 games. We talked about it here. But imagine if they kept him healthy, how dominant that team could have been. JT, despite not shooting well, has shown developments in his game defensively. The playmaking was major. He was on triple double watching the entire series. Yep. Jaylen Brown stepped up. He's become a superstar. It's not a debate anymore. He is a superstar, and he followed that, like you said, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and then of course NBA Finals MVP. Our old man Al Horford was contributing. Derek White has emerged as a borderline all-star for the Celtics. Drew Holiday is Drew Holiday. So yes, a very strong team. They ruled the Eastern Conference. They dominated. They had the best record in the league this year. So Celtics, they shut everybody up. They came through and got it done. But with that said, that brings us to the NBA.
One more thing. Jaylen Brown is Finals MVP on and off the court. If you know, you know.
Oh yeah. JT got Ellen Ma pregnant. Found that out this weekend. We also found out that Jaylen Brown pulled Kyrie. They have, they're about to go to the Olympic gold. What a year.
Jaylen Brown's not on that team, is he?
I think he is.
He's on the Olympic team?
I think he's on the Olympic team. I'm not the judge, but I'm pretty sure he's number 2. Or he should be at least.
He should be.
Should.
If he's not, he
He
should be. But regardless, Finals MVP on and off the court.
Actually, you know what? It might just because Drew made it.
Yeah.
It's just JT.
I
How Jalen Brown is not on the Olympic team, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. But you know what? He's still having a year of his life. But yes, like I said, NBA draft is this week. I have said many times. We'll probably also say you at home watching this or wherever you're watching this have probably also bought it at some point in time. This is a terrible draft. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It sucks. Okay, but this is probably gonna be one of those drafts like 2013 where somebody is like Giannis or Jokic in like the second round and emerges and becomes a star.
I think this is a draft with a Tyrese Maxey, basically saying there's a guy who not many people have that high on their list, but it's going to surprise us simply because maybe his numbers weren't that good, maybe he was in the best situation in college, but you know, when you get to the league, it's a whole different ball game. Apparently the game is lots, what do they say? The space is a lot more open than the NBA. Therefore, you know, I think guys like Stephon Castle, who might have not shot too well in college, may be able to get a shot.
So yeah, of course, Atlanta has the number 1 overall pick there on the clock. A lot of people expected them to pick Alex Sarr, but of course reports came out this past week that Sarr doesn't want to be in on that.
Yeah, no draft. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about you possibly, I mean, that's history at that point. It's no longer just about money, you know? You want to be the number 1 pick. When you play 2K, you wanted to be the number 1 pick. How do you feel about that? Do you think that maybe now players are having too much power or too much say in their careers?
I don't know if it's that. I think player empowerment can be good. I can see it somehow, you know, altering and becoming a little bit more of an issue. But I think overall player, you know, empowerment is good. It's a good thing. In this case, I don't know what's so bad about Atlanta that they don't want to like.
If I'm 7 foot and Trae Young's on the other side of that ball, I'm eating.
Feasting. But yeah, of course, we don't know if it's true, but there are reports coming out. Sarr doesn't want to play the 5, so there's a little bit of
He hasn't worked out.
It hasn't worked out with him either.
Wow. Do we know who he has worked out with?
I think the other top 3 teams. He's only reacted to, I think, Washington, and then number 3 is
Rockets.
The Rockets.
So he's worked out with the Rockets.
So
that's very unusual, but he's ready to go to a team that has a fringe all-star.
I think he wants to play the 4. So
okay, that makes sense. Jabari Smith Jr. Okay. All right.
We'll see what happens. Sarr, he's become, I guess, somewhat. It's between him and the other Frenchman, Zach Rashad, who have kind of emerged as the top 2 picks. Rashard listed number 1 on a lot of big boards. He is the consensus number 1 on a lot of the mock drafts currently. Where do you see Rashard going? Maybe Wizards, maybe number 1. What do you think?
I think he's definitely a top 2 pick. If he does not go to the Hawks, he's going to the Wizards. If he does not go to the Wizards, he's going to the Hawks. I just don't see the Wizards trying to find a piece because they have no pieces. You do have to put a piece on the board to start a puzzle.
So best person,
yeah, so it's either Rashard or Sarr for the Wizards. Those 2 will be flipping. We won't probably know until Woj drops it 5 minutes before the draft. So honestly, in my opinion, I do like Rashard for the Hawks, just simply because who's their small forward right now? DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah, I think they're about to get rid of him. Jalen Johnson is more of a 4 anyway.
Yes, he can't spread the floor as well. Rashard is extremely well 3D guy. I just see him fitting in very well next to DeJounte, Trae Young. Like Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Rashard, Jalen Johnson, whoever they decide. I think that finally gets the Hawks. I'm not gonna say over the hump, but it gets them to a more consistent position because you know they've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals and have not made the playoffs in the same 4-year span. So it's consistency is key.
Number 3 is the Rockets. Of course, they're in a very interesting situation. I've compared them. I feel like they're last year's OKC team before we saw what they did. They've got a lot of great young pieces, a lot of great young players. They just need to make that jump, right? So they're in a very interesting spot. There's been rumors about them, you know, shopping this pick.
Yes.
I think a lot of people have been picking potentially Reed Shepherd with his pick, which would be very interesting. Just as that little bit of like a FEV, a Federico replacement. What do you think of the potential there?
I think they trade this pitch. I think the Rockets they have everything they need. Towards the end of the season, we saw the emergence of Jalen Green showing us that his rookie year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
He's here to stay. He's here to play. Unfortunately, it did take Sengun going down for him to really show that superstar potential again. And they did almost make a run to the play-in, not the playoffs per se, but the play-in towards the end there. And it was led by Jalen Green. So I don't think the Rockets going to play too much around their roster. I think they want to give it one more go to see what they have with Sengun and,
keep building with Eman.
Yeah. Because taking a player with number 3 pick, you kind of expect them to be a franchise cornerstone, and they already have a pretty solid team. So if you could possibly pick up, future draft picks or a vet star right now, off of that pick, I say why not go for that and try to make a push to win now. I don't know if they have the timeline available to develop another NBA player.
Number 4, of course, is Wemby's team. Right? And that's the only way we need to describe the San Antonio Spurs. After the Alien had one of the best rookie seasons of all time, they now, let's be real, they need a guard. Jeremy running at PG was not the move last year. There were literal Twitter, we saw compilations on Twitter of missed passes where we just kind of got an easy bucket. So, pretty clear they got to go guard here. They got a lot of different options. Shepard, as mentioned, Stephon Castle from UConn. Isaiah Collier's kind of fallen out of fray. I guess he's somewhat of an option. Rob Dillingham, also from UK, the explosive scorer from the city as well. So, a lot of options.
Yeah. Definitely getting a guard. Which guard? I don't know who. Rob Dillingham, I think needs the ball in his hands too much. And honestly, they could probably snag him later in the round. I don't think
they have 2 top 10 picks.
2 top. I believe they have
4 and 8, right?
4 and 8, I believe. Yeah, 4 and 8. Yep. So honestly, I think that's just a wild card. I can't say this person here or this person there would be the most beneficial simply because you need somebody that can develop alongside Vic, and neither Reed nor Rob Dillingham give me that kind of playmaking impact off the rip. They're definitely both raw talents in that aspect at least.
I agree. So yeah, Spurs got a very interesting situation, and we could even see them going. Maybe if they, one of these wings takes their eye, we can see that too. The Pistons are at 5. What a disaster of the season! Just everything that could go wrong. They actually had the highest odds for the number overall pick. End up here at 5. Cade was pretty much the only bright spot at certain points during that season. I guess Jalen Durant at certain points. Fired Monty Williams this past week as well. Where do you think the Pistons go here? Or is it just kind of best player available, just kind of blowing this thing up? You got Cade, you got Durant, you got Asar, but where do you go? Killian Hayes is not the guy.
Pistons. Honestly, in my head, I have no idea what the Pistons are doing. It really shocked me when they fired their coach. Yeah. Have they hired a coach yet? I'm not certain how you would want to pick a player without a coach. So I can't even.
I would expect them to be getting somebody in the next couple of days. Similar to, I guess we didn't talk about this, but the Lakers, JJ Redick is now taking over the Lakers. So that's an interesting
choice. I have no idea who the Pistons are going to draft. I'm not even going to lie to you.
But you know what? I feel like we've got that about a lot of these picks. Which, on one hand, we don't have any real dominant prospects in this draft. But it also, I guess, makes the draft a little bit more entertaining as a viewer because it's like, you know what, we don't know who this next pick is. It's not like we got Woj already, a day before and this person going 5. So
according to ESPN, Matas is the 5th best prospect, and I don't know who the Pistons small forward is, but I'm not exactly certain that's their problem. I really think they are just going to be the Pistons, honestly. Okay.
So yeah.
They're just,
and to end off, because, this draft class, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't need to have a full, over 20 minutes. But the Hornets, we got to talk about the 704 team. Boy, where do we start? We have some very strong opinions.
I do have some very strong opinions.
I'll let you kick off. I think you said top 3 that you went into,
My top 3, if Clingan is available, which, according to reports now, Atlanta has been looking at him at number 1. The Wizards have been looking at him. I really hope he can get Clingan, honestly. If not, I don't mind Stephon Castle. That would be a great pairing with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, just simply because LaMelo Ball could not stay in front of me. And he could not stay healthy. So if we could have somebody that could possibly slide to that point guard whenever he may be in or out, or maybe Stephon Castle can come off the bench, provide that defensive stability our team needs. The Hornets were, I think, they were definitely ranked bottom 3, both offensive rating and defensive rating. So we definitely need a top pick. Clingan, Castle, and I want to say Reed Shepherd. I know Reed Shepherd's going to be my 3rd pick. I know it's a long shot, but to pair LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller with another shooter would spread the floor immensely. Yeah. On top of that, Mark Williams just being able to focus on his defensive presence, if he is in fact healthy, I think that would start a new era in the Hornets. They're moving forward. Also, I've heard Charles Lee is a fan of those smaller shooting guards that he can work with and incorporate into the system. So I'm really excited for the future of the Hornets. It's been a long time, a very depressing time. As a Charlotte native for 22 years, I remember seeing Tyrese Thomas start for us. So I'm just happy with whoever we pick, as long as it's the right pick. Just take best available, honestly, and see what we can do with that. Hopefully it matches with LaMelo Ball's timeline, but that's another conversation for another day, seeing he just did sign an extension that kicks in this year. I don't see anybody wanting to trade for that. So we definitely have LaMelo Ball for
a little bit longer.
Unknown amount of time, but definitely another season, unless he gets hurt. After that, please ship him off. Brandon Miller's the future.
Pretty much.
Oh, I also have to do this. Last year, if you know me, I talk the most, about Brandon Miller. Scoot Henderson. This Brandon Miller, if you ever see this clip, I apologize sincerely. I saw you in front of Harris Teeter the other day. You look busy. I wanted to apologize to your face, but here are your flowers, sir. I was wrong. B. Miller's the future. I can't believe that I thought Scoot Henderson was going to work alongside LaMelo Ball to begin with. But we saw what happened to Scoot. He did have a sorter coming out towards the end of the season, but he's definitely a lot more raw. And honestly, with our time out with LaMelo Ball,
and B. Miller was just a better fit.
He was a better fit. He's a better everything. Honestly, the Paul George prototype. I don't know if you guys have seen that crossover tape, but yeah, a 6'9" wing that can shoot and defend. He has a defensive, tenacity. I want to say he's the best defender. Oh, and a great locker room guy. I love seeing his fire, telling people to get back, all of that. We need that for the Hornets. Like I said, I've been here my whole life, so between the Panthers and Hornets, I don't know who I've seen lose more. So,
So yeah, I agree pretty much everything you said. Those top 3. Love Clingan, honestly, as a prospect. I think he showed me a lot during that final, that second national championship run, in terms of his playmaking, defensive ability. Offensively, we can still develop a little bit more. That's, a lot of bigs coming out of college and coming out of wherever they come from. And I think Castle will probably be the ideal fit, just with the playmaking and just the defensive ability.
I think Castle's the most realistic with our position. Yeah. That's if we don't trade him. I've been hearing rumors about us trading up to 3 to select Clingan. I just am not certain what we have to give up. I believe maybe Miles Bridges in the signing trade. Won't speak too much on that. I loved Miles Bridges while he was here. Pre-incident, post-incident, he still produced. But if the ownership thinks it's time to move on from him, then I'm okay with that. If it gets us the 3rd pick and Clingan. If not, I don't think this is a year where you can afford to lose a 20-point per game score.
Yeah, I mean, as the reports have been out that the front office seems to be pretty high on him as it is. So we'll see. But for now, we'll be back next week for episode.
Pause. Mark Williams cannot open the door for himself. He has no offensive creativity. I understand they believe his defensive presence, but Clingan is 7'2", 282 with a 7'7" wingspan. Clingan is 7'2", 282 with a 7-foot wingspan, coming off of 2 natties. Mark Williams has not won anything. But I'll let you close out. I apologize.
And he's the big Clingan fan. He's the Clingan guy. I can't be mad at it. He's one of my favorite prospects. But yeah, we'll be back next week for the next episode. NBA draft. That'll be the final NBA segment.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached The roundup. F1 is back, baby. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, man. It's been too long. It's been too long. Unfortunately, Max Verstappen is still winning races. Which, you know what? He had to earn it. Max is having to earn it. He's the best driver, right? I think that's what I got out of the Spanish Grand Prix this week was the gap is closing, right? Red Bull's car isn't as dominant, but Max is still on top. Not because he drives for Red Bull, but because he's Max Verstappen. He's still the best in the world at this, and I think he proved it this weekend, even though Lando Norris was on one. All right, Lando was on one, but unfortunately, a horrific start. By the way, a crazy start. Lando has, just a horrific start, falls back, loses position he needed to really probably could have won this race. George has an insane start, cuts through everybody, takes the lead before Max takes it back. Just a wild, wild start in Spain. But yeah, Max holds off Lando. Lewis returns to the podium. So that's 18 straight years. Of course, that's unprecedented. I don't need to tell you what's history because Lewis is arguably the greatest ever. And that's what the GOAT does. All right, that's what the GOAT does. Lewis back to the podium. Ferrari, a very frustrating week. A very frustrating week for Charles. Charles was on edge all week. He was going at everybody. Carlos, Lando, he was on one. I don't know. It was a very frustrating week for Charles Leclerc. Probably because McLaren looks like they might have the best car. All right. Which is not good for Ferrari in terms of the constructors. And honestly, after all the momentum they had after Monaco, it's just kind of all dilapidated very, very fast. So frustrating week for Ferrari. And yeah, Spanish Grand Prix. Max is still Max. Lando, though, and McLaren are coming, bro. They're coming. Coming very, very fast. Olympic trials are going on right now. So I will miss whatever and whoever makes it tonight. So that is unfortunate. But, scheduling, we got to do what you got to do. We do have to talk about Sha'Carri. All right, Sha'Carri going to the Olympics. 10-7-1 world lead for Sha'Carri, for Miss Richardson herself. She also gets to go with her teammates, Melissa Jefferson and, of course, TT Terry fight on. Shout out to TT. So, yeah, that is our 100-meter team. And that's a very strong one. Shout out to Dennis Mitchell, though. All right, Sha'Carri, Melissa, and TT, the sweep as a coach, that's again, I got to give my hat off and tip my hat to him. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Sha'Carri looking like she's running the show. World champ, and now she's in great form. She's going into the Olympics. I like her chances in 100 meters and taking over, getting the crown she should have had. She made some mistakes, owned up to it, bounced back like, a great is supposed to do. And now I want to see her get, she got the world championship crown. I want to see her get that Olympic gold medal, and I think she has a really good shot of doing it. But yeah, Olympic trials underway. We'll talk more about that next week. Probably be a featured segment next week. You know what else will be a featured segment next week? The UFC, because we have UFC 303. Before we get to that, let's talk about UFC Saudi Arabia. Because my. Somebody, finally. I thought it was the gloves for a second, because we didn't have no KOs. It was a drought, a little bit of a drought, but we're back. And I'm very happy to say we are back. Bobby Knuckles said the Ikram hype train needs to die down. All right, I know what happened versus DDP, but and Bobby Knuckles put him to sleep. All right, put him to sleep viciously. He wasn't the only one, though. Bobby Knuckles wasn't the only one, because Volkan with a super necessary on Johnny Walker. Who, listen, Johnny he's a gatekeeper. He is a gatekeeper. That is his role. That is what he is. Let's accept him for who he is. That's it. He's a glass cannon. He will either have a highlight knockout or he will get knocked out viciously. That is just how this game goes. It is what it is. It is what it is. And on this occasion, Volkan was just absolute, goodness gracious. Killed him. Murder. Woof. Volkov and Pavlovich, the two Russians had beef all weekend. Sergey came in looking like Russian Brock Lesnar, by the way. And it wasn't enough, because that hype train also... Both of the contending gatekeepers just, shut everything down. This was a great week for gatekeepers. But yeah, Volkov says, Pavlovich, you cannot pass. He gets the UD and says, the hype train, the Russian Brock, you're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. You're not. So yeah, Volkov gets it done. Of course, next week, like I said, UFC 303 headlined now. Should have been Connor versus Chandler, but is instead now Alex versus Jerry. I am slightly concerned about the weight there in Alex. Otherwise, we should have another banger. Of course, I would pick Alex in that. Not that I don't think Jerry is a dog, because he is. But just Alex is blessed with the left hook from the Lord Jesus himself. Okay? So, and Jerry likes to get hit. So, that's the only way I can see it, like the first one. That's the only way I can see it going. But it's going to be a good fight. It's still going to be a good fight. T-City and Lopez is going to be fun. Diego Lopez has done an insane ascent up that division, and T-City is a great test for him. A great, great test. So, very excited about that one. MVP versus Ian Gary should be fireworks as well. So, yeah, very solid cards, some very good fights. I think some ones that could surprise us as well. So, yeah, it should be very, very interesting. Should be some good stuff next week to talk about. NCAA baseball. You know, we can't end the series early. We're not the Celtics, right? You know, we're more in the NHL over here. So, we're going to a Game 3. A decisive Game 3. TAMU nearly had it going into the 7th. Some great pitching, but then it just all fell down. That Tennessee offense has been dynamite all year long. And it delivered once again. All right, it delivered once again. They get the win here 4-1. Now, Jace Lavalette came through. Finally, has not had a great College World Series, but the star for TAMU came through. And they need him without Braden. But it was not enough, because Drelling gets it done with the 2-run shot in the 7th, and then Stark puts it away in the 8th. So, yeah, back-to-back innings, 2-run shots, gives Tennessee that cushion that they need, and then the pitching takes care of it from there. So, yeah, a little bit of a pitching battle in Game 2 after TAMU really dominated Game 1. So, Game 3 should be very, very interesting. A lot of firepower on both teams. Pitching has showed up, big for both teams as well. So, yeah. Going to be a very, very interesting between the Vols and the Aggies and seeing who walks away with that national championship. And to end off, ladies and gentlemen, I have to talk about it. All right, the WNBA, the Sky and the Fever, they're going to make them play at least 10 times. All right, the matchmakers are going to find a way to make them play at least 10 times from now on just because all of their games have delivered. All right. And finally, Angel Reese is able to beat a Caitlin Clark-led team for the first time in a very long time. All right, it's been a while, and honestly, they probably should have won this time, but Angel had the best game of her career so far, 25-16. She was a dog. She was a dog. She is a dog. Angel is a dog. That's the facts. Offensive bag or not, she showed a little bit better offensive performance, obviously, here with 25. And honestly, she was hit. It wasn't just like her, dumb luck or getting offensive rebounds. She was cooking Nalisa Smith, who her stock continues to fluctuate, where sometimes she's looked like, okay, she can be here long-term with the Fever, and other times it's like, okay, you want to leave? Bye. All right, bye. This was one of those games where she should probably walk home. Poking the bear in Angel Reese and then getting cooked over and over and over and over and over again, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for Nalisa Smith, and she got cooked by Angel Reese. But yeah, AR went off. Kennedy Carter does Kennedy Carter thing. She had a cool 23. Cammy had 16 and 10. So yeah, the Twin Towers for the Sky get it done. They get it done. All right, they get the win because the Fever just forgot how to make shots in the fourth quarter. And I don't want to be like, oh, Caitlin's teammates. Because Caitlin could have played a better game. Not much better, but could have played a better game. And honestly, it's not completely her teammates' fault, but you got to make some of those shots. There were way too many blown layups. Aaliyah, as great as she is, we love Aaliyah. She's played great. Now, the last couple of games, played great. This wasn't one of her best. And, of course, missing that, game winner today, not great. But I will give her some leniency because she's been great. And it's not her fault. Christy Sides you're not convincing me she's not Darvin Ham just with a mask on. A Mission Impossible mask. You're not convincing me. Who goes away? You got Caitlin and Aaliyah over here looking like Stockton and Malone all game, and you decide to go away with it once the Sky make a run. What? The one thing that's getting you consistent buckets. Caitlin could have broke the assist record in this game. I mean, she broke the Fever one. She had 17 for those ones, 17, 6, and 13. Which, once again, told you, Christian Damas, her playmaking is always going to translate. And she's going to put up some monster. When she gets teammates that can really put it in the cup, she's going to put up some monster assist numbers. But I think they needed her to be the bucket getter here down the stretch. And I don't know why they didn't set that up more. I really don't know how she doesn't get more touches. In the last 3 minutes of that game, when it was back and forth, how many times in college did we see Caitlin Clark kill teams? I mean, put the dagger, the stake in the heart. Let her take them out. Let her take them out. Put her in positions to put the ball in the bucket because she does it almost as better than anybody else. And they didn't. For whatever reason, they didn't. Christy Sides gotta go. Kelsey Mitchell at 24. She's been playing a lot better. I think if they're choosing between her and Erica Wheeler, unfortunately, Weezy gotta go. But Christy Sides also has to get up out of here. I don't know why. What's her name? I'm going to pull it up because I want to get this right. And it's the last segment. So I want to get this right. But I have no idea. And this is me reoccurring. No offense to her. But Christy Wallace. Why she was in the game, I also don't know. But yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Sky get it done, though. They needed the win. Fever, they'll be okay. It ends the winning streak, but they'll be okay. And again, Christy Sides got to go. Y'all need a better coach. But yeah. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 203. Still live from the 704. And yeah, without further ado, Ocho signing off.